Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us here at Kennedy Space Center. I'm NASA Press Secretary Jackie McGinnis, and we're joined today for an Artemis update by NASA leadership and our Artemis II crew. They just got a first look at the spacecraft that will take them to the moon. And unfortunately, we only have 45 minutes today for this briefing, so we'll try and keep it short. Joining us, we have NASA Administrator Bill Nelson, Deputy Administrator Pam Melroy, Associate Administrator Bob Cabana, Associate Administrator for the Exploration Systems Development Mission Directorate, Jim Free, Artemis II Commander Reed Wiseman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Cook, and Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen. First, I'll hand it over to the Administrator for a quick update.
Thanks, Jackie. The fact that the crew has seen their spacecraft now, this is another major step of us going back to the moon. Remember, we're going back to the moon. It's actually a different moon. We're going to the South Pole. We're going to see several spacecraft, some too, perhaps, from other nations that are going to be landing on the South Pole in the near future, perhaps this year. So there's a renewed interest in the moon. And of course, it's there because the potential of water. And if there is water in enough abundance, then you have the potential for hydrogen and oxygen, which would fit in very nicely with why we're going back to the moon this time after a half century. We're going back to learn to live in a deep space environment for long periods of time so that we can go to Mars and return safely. Now, along the way, there are going to be several scientific excitements, the development of new tools, the development of new implements, the development of new procedures, all of which it's in this Moon to Mars program. And that's the goal. We're going to venture out into the cosmos. We go back to the moon this time in a different way. We go back with commercial partners. And we go back to the moon with international partners. You should have seen the reaction when Reed brought the crew to Ottawa and they were in front of the Parliament. Or you should have seen Jeremy in his 10-gallon hat at the largest rodeo in the world in Calgary, Alberta. There's an excitement there that I can tell you that's quite exceptional as an international mission. You should see the fact that moi, having just returned from South America, 3 countries, Brazil, Argentina, and Colombia, no hesitation about the president of those countries receiving our NASA delegation. And not only excitement, but enthusiasm of presidents that amazed our U.S. State Department embassy staffs that would accompany us. There is this excitement in the international community. And of course, all along in the science that we're going to discover things just like I say about the James Webb Space Telescope. We're going to answer questions that we don't even know what the questions are right now. But I remember back on the 60th anniversary, they had me go to Houston 60 years to the day, and Rice University was having this celebration. And it was in the same place that President Kennedy spoke to an audience in that Rice Stadium. This was, a long time ago, but he said he had already declared in a speech to the joint session of Congress about a year earlier. In the meantime, John Glenn had flown, so we knew we were on our way. And Kennedy went there and he said, we go to the moon not because it's easy, but because it's hard. And space is hard. And there are those discoveries in overcoming this very hard environment that are going to fill us and our nature as discoverers and as adventurers. And that's why we're going back to the moon and then on to Mars. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you, sir. And now Deputy Administrator Maury.
Is it on? Okay, great. It is really a thrill for Bill, Bob, and I to be here with the Artemis II crew to see their flight hardware. I think it brings back happy memories for the three of us of seeing our flight hardware, but also a shiver down our spine as we step forward into the next chapter of our destiny in human spaceflight. So we are going to stay, as the administrator said. That's very important, and we have the hardware not just for Artemis II, but for flights all the way out through Artemis 6 already in work. And that's very significant. We've been spending a lot of time the last couple of years to really focus on what are the objectives that we need to prove on the moon. What exactly do we need to learn before we're ready to go to Mars? And this is a crucial first step along that way. One of our North Stars is science. That's why we explore, to learn more about the universe, our solar system, our Earth, ourselves. And there will be some exciting experiments on Artemis II, mostly focused on radiation and crew, because we now have the opportunity to have a crew that we have to advance this particular kind of science. But I do want to say for a moment,